Okay, hello everyone, online, on Twitch, and everyone who's here in this room. It's a pleasure to have you all, and I hope you will enjoy this, I would say, a walkthrough maybe, because I want to more like comment and tell you what's going on in this world and how everything works and how things are connected to each other. So now I'm gonna restart the experience. Let's see. All right. So what you see here on the screen live on Twitch is a bird flying in an alien landscape. And if you want to know where you are as a bird, if you look at top left, it says the address of the space that I am currently at, which is now FM Lena Home. So it says that we are now in the home of Lena. So who is Lena, and is there anyone else in this world? So this is a virtual world called False Mirror, and it hosts two radically different virtual beings called Alice and Lena. And you can see on the bottom left, it says both Alice and Lena are online, and also where they are. Now, Alice is in training zone, and Lena is also in training zone. So both characters are now in VR, as you can see in the physical space, and they are being trained in the first training zone, which tells them about the extent of their own virtual bodies, how they can experience, interact, navigate, and just deal with the surrounding environment. And now as a bird, bird is a non-VR entity, as you can see. I'm playing it through a screen, a 2D screen. And a bird is a sort of like an agent that can freely fly around in False Mirror in different spaces and sort of interact and see what's going on. So a bird is kind of like a passive. It's both passive and at the same time have a sort of agency that can interact with other characters in False Mirror, like Lena and Alice. So I'm going to fly around a little bit. Lena's home is quite large, as you can see, and Lena has a sort of intimate connection with plants that she crafts and cultivates in her house, or home, let's say. And you can see all these sort of alien plants in this world. And as a bird, I can sort of change the perspective to first-person perspective, more hands-on, and I can leave traces in the world, like with this. I can leave these spikes in the world, and these are quite good because if you are Lena, it's easy to spot where Alice is, where the bird is, if I leave these traces. It's kind of like a sign, and you can be playful with them too, as you can see. And another thing that I would encourage the audience on Twitch to try out is to leave messages, because birds historically used to deliver our letters, of course, and now on Twitch an audience can also leave a message in this world, and the bird will deliver the message as a 3D text into the world. And once it's placed, it will remain there for 10 minutes. So now you can see on the bottom left that Lena is in home, so we are in the same space. And I actually can see Lena here, which is being played by Mathilde on my left-hand side. And to tell you a little bit about Lena, so Lena this is the pond that Lena was born from, the seed, and her body is sort of like, it's kind of like a plant, and you can see, if I'm gonna find her here. Here's Lena. And as she moves and flies in the world, she leaves these traces. It's kind of like a trace of her thoughts and emotions in the space. And they can be deciphered with a proper tool. And it's really interesting because you can sort of have an impact in the environment by just being and flying in this space. And Lena can also plant seeds, as you can see, like new plants. So here you can see this new plant that she put. This is an air plant. So now I'm gonna follow where Lena is going, actually. And here in this zone, these are some of the most fascinating plants of Lena. These are time plants, and with them, Lena can change and shortcut the time to the time she wants to be at. So each of these plants represent a different time of day. Now she's going on top of the night plant, and now it's shortcutting the time to night. Now my torch, my spotlight is becoming handy. Now she switched to sunset, so it's a kind of dramatic sunset. But I'm gonna interrupt, because as a bird I can actually also switch time, because why not? So I'm switching it to night, and we can have a look around other things that's going on here. And one of the other things that's nice about the bird, that the bird can also shrink itself. So I'm gonna shrink the bird, and now as you can see, I'm like 1/3 of my original size. And this allows me to go into smaller sort of parts of the world. And on the other hand, Alice is in his own home, which is a totally different environment. So Alice's body is more towards like kind of order, and like it's more like a technological body and human-like. So Alice has proper hands, like golden hands, and a modular body that sort of he can extend his functionality and perception. And after a while, we all of us, like Alice, Bird, and Lena, will be teleported to the shared space called Skyville, which is one of the first spaces ever made in False Mirror. This space, as you can see, which with these like super relaxing sky walls, is kind of inspired as a virtual space that kind of feels like a park, like when you go to a nearby park around your house and you just want to have a headspace and chill around. And this place is kind of like a space that you can sort of come here and daydream and just have some headspace. Now you see I can follow Lena. So now I'm going to see where Alice is here. So Alice, compared to Lena, cannot fly. Alice is stuck to the ground. Gravity affects Alice, as you can see. And what's interesting is Alice, in the beginning, when you see Alice, is this kind of chrome body, all metal body, and you cannot see the real Alice here. And you can see the attachments that he has, like this vacuum cleaner. That's one of the attachments, that Alice can vacuum these unknown objects. And the vacuum cleaner has a monitor. I'm following Alice here. Sorry to interrupt. And on this monitor, it will render the meaning behind the object that you just vacuumed. So now Alice is trying to vacuum shards of Lena. Another thing which is good to know is if you're Alice and in this space, you cannot see Lena. You can only see the shards of Lena. So Lena is kind of like a ghost in the beginning for Alice, from Alice's perspective. And the more Alice starts to vacuum these shards of Lena, the more he can render the true image of Lena. And what's funny is Lena's presence in the space can be quite creative, because Lena can create, apart from all these shards that she leaves around, can create all these magical plants in the space. So, for instance, like this plant, which I'm right in front of, it's a fortune teller plant, and whoever holds this plant, it will tell them a fortune. It's kind of fortune cookies, but a fortune plant. And these long plants, these ones, if you press the tip of them, it will make a ripple in the time-space and kind of distorts the sounds around you. So it kind of glitches the time in a sense. And you can see that this is sort of like an experience that like both users are in the same space, but they sort of get to interact with each other indirectly in the beginning because they cannot properly see each other. And now they are teleported to the chair room, one of the iconic places in False Mirror. It's this big chair that's suiciding from the sky. It's quite intimidating, but yeah, chair is a big thing in False Mirror, I must say. And another detail is if Lena touches anything on the ground, like these chairs, they become floating, and they become floated in the sky like this one. But if Alice touches the chairs, they will drop down. So they sort of like have a different effect in the space and how they sort of interact. And now, this is an interesting event that occurred because Alice managed to vacuum a lot of pieces from Lena. And as a result, it will spawn this orb. And this orb starts to pulse. And as it pulses in the space, it will sort of sync both of these frequencies. So now Alice can see Lena, but in pulses, so it's like heartbeat. So it appears and then disappears. And also Alice's body becomes fully Alice, like it's not Chrome anymore. And this whole sort of like kind of virtual sort of presence of all these three different entities kind of tries to sort of provoke a sort of like a radical form that we as humans can interact with each other as a digital being. Because, you know, it's social VR platforms like VR chat, and the standard like platforms that provide social VR experiences are quite around. Yeah, you have an avatar, you come to this virtual world, but the form of your communication is still based on voice and what is conventional as a human sort of communication. But what I'm sort of like really excited about to explore here is how we can have a different form to interact and sort of communicate together, and without the barriers of language. What would we say if we could only leave traces in the world, like Lena does? Because what's interesting is, for instance, Mathilde, my collaborator on this project, she played as Lena a lot, and now she sort of mastered how she can move as Lena, and how she can leave these traces like in a beautiful way. And it takes some sort of a skill to actually get to this level of, like painting with your own movements, with these like fine movements. On the other hand, from Alice's perspective, how you can sort of get a grasp of all these buttons and attachments to your body and use them. Like he has an attachment that he can sort of make himself small, like shrink himself, like a small insect, and all these sort of different extensions that he has. So now I'm sort of like, I found a glitch that I could sort of come in behind the scenes of the space, which sort of is like, if you've seen this, like when you're going behind the stage in a performance, it's quite dramatic. Because as a bird, I don't have access to this tunnel, which is a time tunnel. And now Alice and Lena are both inside. You can see a bit of Lena from here. It's kind of glitchy. But they're now both there. Maybe I can find a way inside, but let me see. Oh yeah, there we go. Sort of pushing myself into this time tunnel. This time tunnel is also one of the first dynamic spaces in False Mirror. And as you see, the walls are slowly sort of moving. And in VR, it's quite trippy to be in this place. Because you're in a static room, but the walls around you are moving. And it's a kind of architecture we are not used to as humans. And it can be quite unsettling, but it's good to think about how, a virtual space can move our bodies and our perceptions. So yeah, now we have sort of reached the end of the chapter, and then it sort of restarts and brings back the bird into the landscape. So this was the whole sort of like Eclipse experience, which is 20 minutes, and you can experience it from 3 different perspectives: the bird, the Alice and Lena. And if you come to the exhibition, you can choose whichever you want to take over, and each have their own different sort of extensions and sort of ways to be present in the space. I think that's it about the whole virtual tour of False Mirror Eclipse, and I hope you have enjoyed it. I don't know if you have time for any sort of questions or things like that, but I would be happy to, I would be around for sure. Thank you very much, and thanks for coming.